Hello, welcome to How to Automotive. I'm Brian Eslick, and in today's video, I got some of my top 5 tools that are going to help you either make money, save time, or just make your life better. So stay tuned for that. Today we're featuring Gearwrench Tools brand new 90-tooth ratchet sets. They come in comfort grip or standard grip. They have an ultra thin head and they're designed to get into small places. So I got it paired up against the leading brands, which is Snap-on here. And as you can see, they're thinner than the Snap-ons. And that's on all 3 of the ratchets, the 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch drive. Another key feature is the recessed switch here that accidentally gets triggered. So if you look right here on the Gearwrench ratchet here, the lever is recessed, and on other brands it's raised. And when you're working in tight spots, I found that this will get accidentally switched. Then when you're working on it, it'll go in the opposite direction than you intended it to, and it can be difficult to switch it back in those tight areas. And because the ratchet has 90 teeth, it's considered a fine tooth ratchet, which means it has 4 degrees of arc in between teeth, which means you only have to rotate the ratchet 4 degrees before it catches the next tooth and gives you that power to push or loosen the fasteners. If you listen here, you can hear how fine those teeth are. And with 90 teeth in the ratchet, it gives it the perfect balance of strength and that fine tooth action that you want and need. Now, Gearwrench offers them in comfort grip or in standard grip. If you like to bang on your ratchets like this to loosen it up, the comfort grip would probably be the way to go. But the comfort grip does have its limitations, especially working in tight spots. Also, when you're working on cars that are really oily and dirty, it's common to get a lot of oil and grease on the handles, and that's an additional cleaning that you have to do. It's a lot harder to clean the comfort grips. So if you're in the market for a good quality set of ratchets, I will leave links for them down in the description of the video. And today's video is all about the brand new Milwaukee Tools M12 straight die grinder. So in the kit, you're going to get the tool, 2 2-amp-hour batteries, and a charger, and a carrying bag with 2 wrenches to operate the chuck. The tool itself is pretty much very similar to its original right angle die grinder. The only difference is it has, instead of having 4 modes like the right angle die grinder has, this one has 3 modes. The 3 modes is 10,000 RPMs. So you flip the switch here, 10,000 RPMs, it'll spin that. Next, mode 2 is 15,000 RPMs. And in mode 3, it'll run at 21,000 RPMs. So mode 3 is your main cutting surface. The other 2 are just for more fine tune or for different types of applications such as wire wheels and stuff where you don't want it to spin as fast. And it has the standard variable trigger. It has a safety lock on it, and it has a fuel gauge. So not much difference. It's the same style chuck. It has a nice LED light that lights up right onto the cutting surface. So I got the opportunity to put it to work and use it on a couple jobs this week. So I thought I'd share that with you now. So take a look at these clips. Before I show it to you in action, I wanted to do a little side-by-side comparison with the pneumatic version and the new right angle die grinder that came out a few months ago. So as you can see, they are a little bit larger than the original pneumatic versions, but these are the smallest die grinders on the market that are battery powered. So in this clip, I'm using a sanding bit to deburr the inside of a ball joint that I did on a Ford. So this is a sanding disc. I got the power turned down to power level 1, and I just use it to deburr and clean out the inside bore of the ball joints right. So when I go to press them in, they go in right nice and easy. So in the next clip, I wanted to demonstrate how strong it is, and I wanted to cut some hardened steel. So I found a bearing race that I wanted to cut off a hub. This is scrap metal. I'm not reusing it. I'm just demonstrating that it could cut hardened steel. So I'm just using a cutoff wheel and cutting at an angle here to cut the bearing race off. And what I'll do is I'll cut it about 3/4 of the way through, and then use a punch, and I'll crack it with a hammer and chisel. And then once I crack the hardened race, it should be able to pull it off by hand. So this is some of the applications that you can use the die grinder for. You can use it in body work, cutting panels off. It has all kinds of uses. So once I get this panel off, you can see the close-up view of the bearing race here and how it cut right through it. So the die grinder is scheduled to be released February 20th, 2020. So look for it in your local stores such as Home Depot and other retailers like that. Today I'm excited because right here in front of me is my new mobile work table by Gearwrench Tools. And the reason why I'm excited about it is because I upgraded my old version and this one's a much better one for me. So I wanted to share with you why you would want one of these mobile work tables in your tool collection. So come with me. So I'm going to assemble the table real quick to show you that process and also tell you the specs on it. So once you get the box open, it comes in 4 or 5 main pieces. So assembly is really quick. So you assemble the top tray first by putting the pole on here. This is held on with 4 bolts. There's a little alignment tab that you have to line up. Bolt those up. So now we're going to assemble the main body of the mobile workstation here. So the casters already come pre-assembled on the rails here. We're just going to bolt these to the main upright here. There's 4 fasteners on each side. You want to pay attention to the tree going upwards. The plate at the very bottom of it needs to face to the rear of the table. I assembled it wrong, so I had to take it back apart. So it comes with all the fasteners. You're going to go ahead and assemble that. Then after that, we're going to slide the table onto the pole, and then we'll assemble all the bumpers and handles on the tabletop. If you notice, I installed the handle with it facing downwards. You can flip that over where it faces upwards, and it looks more like a shopping cart handle to me. And as you can see, it's quite a large tabletop here, and it's an upgrade from my old version. It was a good quality work table, but the size of it was just a little too small, and the base was a little narrow, so it made it kind of top heavy and easy to flip over. So the working tabletop is about 20 inches wide and about 30 inches from end to end. Right here next to the handle is a screwdriver slots where you can put screwdrivers and pry bars in to keep those organized. And on the side, there's a couple dividers where you can put sockets and fasteners here to keep that all organized as you're working. And the tabletop is designed to hold up to 125 pounds of workable load on top of it. You can adjust the tabletop height by turning the little knob down here and sliding it up or down from 35 inches up to 48 inches high. One thing I did not like about the Gearwrench table is the lack of locking caster wheels. It has really nice caster wheels, but they're unable to be locked into place. But caster wheels are cheap, and you can just unbolt them and bolt in new ones if that's a requirement for where you're working with the cart. Now I'm going to show you how this table is really going to help you out in your day-to-day work life. So right here I'm doing a brake job, and I have all my tools and parts right here. And as I take the brake parts off, I put my bolts and fasteners over here in the organizing tray. I put the parts right here on the top main tray here. And there's enough space on the tabletop here to use it as a workbench to disassemble the brake parts and reassemble them here. So I'll disassemble, put them on, take them off, back and forth, real close by. Here's an example of the 125 pound weight limit that you can put on it, so you can pile your parts on there. And the wide stance at the bottom of the cart makes it very stable. So this is where it really shines, is where I like to use it, is having my work as close as possible to my job. So as you can see here, I adjusted the tabletop height and slid it as close to me as I possibly could get it. That way I can work back and forth to make the job as efficient as I possibly could. So having the work really close really speeds up my workflow. So if you're interested in a mobile work table like this one, I will leave links for it down in the description of the video. Today on How To Automotive, I got a tip for you, is to have paint markers in the shop. They're a great tool to have in the shop to mark things, especially when you're taking apart like this suspension part here. On some shocks and struts, if you have it off just a little bit, it makes it really difficult to put them back together. So having that alignment is critical. So using the paint markers will help you out with that. Another cool use for them is if you're doing ignition wires or vacuum lines and stuff like that, you can use the paint markers to mark the whatever you're working on. You can also use them for oil change. After you tighten the oil drain plug down, you can mark it. That way, if you're quality controlling the work on somebody, you know that they did it by marking it. Also, if it comes back for any reason, you can check your alignment mark on the paint mark, and if it's been moved, you know it's either loose or somebody has tampered with it. It's especially helpful when you're taking lots of nuts and bolts and fasteners apart to mark them as soon as they're tightened. That way you can know from a glance that they're tightened, and if you're quality checking them, you know that they're tight because they're marked. Okay, so if you're interested in any of these tools that I did in this video, I will leave links for them down in the description. I'm Brian Nessa from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, encourage you to subscribe, invite you to head over to the howtoautomotive.com website for more valuable videos like this.